was like, wow, wasn't that good to find out? And she goes, no. I was like, well, yeah, it's good to find out. Now you know why. It takes you 3 times as long to read something and understand it. So now we got to get technology and figure it out. Does that make sense? So don't view it as an obstacle if that does happen to you. I just want you, we'll help you work through it, but you also need to advocate for yourself, okay? And that's what Allison was saying. Communicate with faculty. You know, it's in our interest to get you through too. We took a risk on each of you, right? We selected you because we thought you had potential. So we're not just gonna say sink or swim. You know, we're here to help you kind of succeed as well. Obviously, I want each of you to be like the little school supply girl over there from Ohio and go in your house when you go home and set up some space that is your space to study. Some environment that nobody else goes in. So don't create a place where your kids are, you know, don't put it on the dining room table, you know. Stephanie, come on in. Come on up front. We've already talked about this. Bryson talked about managing work commitments. Obviously, professional behaviors are important. Dress code. Please don't dye your hair blue. Okay? We recently had a couple people who dyed their hair blue and green, and I was like, not acceptable, guys. You need a wig. And they got wigs for fieldwork. I was like, you can do what you want on the weekends. I don't care. Shave your head. But don't go to fieldwork that way. I don't want to see the tattoos. I don't want to see, you know, whatever. Tight clothes. You're a professional now. We should not notice your appearance. We should notice your brain. Does that make sense? This is about who you are up here and in your heart, not how you look. Unfortunately, people are going to judge you the way you look. So no tattoos like hanging out here, if you know what I mean. You know, the hair lately has been a problem. And so I'm just saying, people are going to judge you as not being as intelligent as you are if you look a little outrageous. That's all. Okay, so tone it down. All right. And just, timeliness and attendance are a big deal. To fieldwork into school, if you're not going to be on time, text the teacher. Hey, got caught in traffic. But if it's a habit, I'm like, wait a minute, this student's late every week. 5 points off the grade. Okay? So I'm telling you, certain people are going to be, you know, if I bust my butt to be here at 7:30, you better too. All right? So different teachers are going to have different tolerance for that kind of behavior. But I'm telling you, there's kind of a standard that if this is a pattern, we're going to call you in and say, you got to work on this professional behavior. No drugs and alcohol. Your fieldwork sites may do P-tests on you, okay? We had somebody who got all the way to level 2 and then got popped on a P-test. Guess what? She couldn't do her level 2 fieldwork. She couldn't graduate from Brenau. So I'm telling you, stop the drugs now, okay? All right. Stephanie, you've stopped, right? You've quit. All right. Stephanie Gibson is in our weekend program in the cohort above you. Yeah, that was the end. So tell them about your experience.
Okay, well, I think the main thing you need to know coming in is know that your professors, it's not like the traditional old school, like what you're used to professors. They're more facilitators of your learning, especially you guys are weekend program, right?
Yes,
Okay.
they're just cohort right above you.
Just know that a lot of what you're going to learn, you've got to learn it yourself. They're here to answer questions, they'll provide resources. Clearly they tell you what textbooks to have, but you've got to read, you've got to do the work. The experience really is what you make of it. It's definitely not hand-holding. And I think that's the hardest thing that my entire cohort, I think, struggled with. But once you get that in your head and you realize it, you're gonna be fine. It's a lot of
You
work.
just had a rough semester, right, with your beads field work?
Well, it started out a little rough, but it's just a matter of you gotta advocate for your
Right.
learning experience.
What did you do right away?
The first thing I did was contact my PEDS professor and my fieldwork
Yeah.
coordinator to let them know kind of the situation and more just what resources I felt like I needed to be prepared at my fieldwork.
Because it was like the CI was kind of expecting like high level stuff, and she was just like a level 1 student.
Yeah, my very first fieldwork,
Yeah.
you've gone to class for 2 semesters and then, but it ended up being totally fine. It was
Yeah.
just a matter of, making sure that I communicated very clearly
And
with them.
did you think in the beginning, like, I'm an adult, I should be handling this myself, I shouldn't be running to my professors?
Well, I mean, I am an older adult in my cohort, so I've been in a lot of positions where I've had to ask for, assistance in the past, and that's one thing, don't not ask for help.
Yeah.
But don't panic and come without trying to figure out a solution. That would be my recommendation, don't come be like, oh, my whole world's falling apart. They're there to bounce stuff off of, come to them and say, okay, here's my problem, here's how I want to approach it, what do you think, kind of thing,
Right.
rather than fix this for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I did stuff like I brought my syllabus to my fieldwork advisor or my fieldwork person, CI, and said, this is what I'm learning this semester, just so you know, I haven't gotten to this yet, and I haven't gotten to that yet.
That's good.
And so what I tried to do was work it that way. Another challenge I had is my fieldwork person only worked part-time. So in terms of being able to be there and get all the experiences I wanted to have and the hours I needed to have, I kind of had to work with her to work with other people within the department, to follow them around, to learn things. But again, if you're proactive and you communicate professionally, you act professionally, people are going to want to work with you, and the professors here will definitely back you up. But like I said, I think the biggest thing for you coming in is just know that you're going to have to work hard, and know that it's
What
not going to
was
be
your
handed to you.
undergrad in?
I actually came to this 15 years after my undergrad, and I had an undergrad in business administration. I was a CPA for 11 years
Wow.
before this, and then I have a child with special needs, and that's how I got into this. But the thing is, I know at my orientation, everybody talks about how you're going to cry, and it's so hard, and everybody can stop and like, what are you talking about?
Have you cried?
Oh, everybody does. But
Oh,
the thing
okay.
is, it sounds like you won't, but truly, it's just, you get kind of stressed out. But keep your boundaries. Hey,
Lisa's here too, yay!
Keep your boundaries, like keep your life, like try to keep somewhat of a life. You're gonna give up a lot to study, right, Lisa?
Lisa's in the same weekend cohort.
But I would just say, keep the things that are important to you. Don't give them up. Don't give up everything to do nothing but study.
What do you do for fun?
I still run. I have kids, so I do a lot of my kids' stuff with them.
Do you work?
I don't work right now. A lot of the people in my cohort have gone part-time who were working full-time. But, there's still a few that are working full-time, but definitely by the time they get to level 2s, they'll be not doing that anymore. You can work. You definitely can. It's just a matter of balance. Like for me, because I have kids, to be able to be a mom and work and do this, it would be kind of nuts.
Did you say, do you have a spouse?
I do.
Did you say to him in the beginning, like, hey, if we're gonna undertake this is a family thing?
Yeah, and it is an adjustment. I guess my husband had to learn to
Cook?
step into the mom's shoes a little bit. And then my kids had to learn that it's okay that I'm not there every moment, every time. But I'm still there a lot. So if
Anybody
you
who
are a
goes to
mom-
every game, every practice,
I
get
did.
over it. That's all I have to say.
But the thing is, you won't miss everything,
Mhm.
and that's the thing You won't. You won't miss everything. You could if you let this rule your life, but you can do this program, you can make straight A's and still have a life. You just have to work at it. I guess
Lisa,
Right, that's what I was
tell
gonna
them
say.
your situation.
So, I'm Lisa Wade, and, I know a couple of you. It's kind of cool.
How?
I took a class here at Brenau, Research Methods, before I got to the program.
Ah, okay.
So it's kind of cool to see some familiar faces. And I am a mom of two. My children are older. My daughter is actually 19. My son is almost 15. So they're pretty independent. And again, I did the same thing with my husband and my son who's still at home. I said, okay, guys, you guys are going to be on your own a lot more. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's good. You know,
Oh,
they're so,
yeah.
oh, I'm so cool with that. But then when the reality hit them, they're like, what do you mean, Mom? You need to make dinner? You didn't make my lunch? What's
Right,
going on?
laundry,
Yeah,
right.
exactly, but they've adjusted well, and I agree with a lot of what Stephanie has said. It's just a matter of balance. You know, keep your priorities. You know you have all these assignments, but again, keep balance.
Do you guys take a day off? Like, do you reserve one day for doing
I take it off, but
non-schoolwork?
I don't pick one day, but like I try to look at my week, and if there's things that I have as a priority that I really want to do, something with my girlfriends, or a lot of times with my kids, or something with my spouse, then you just have to really plan your life. If you're a procrastinator, that's not gonna work. You can, but you will be really, really stressed out, and I think you'll learn that you can do that.
I try to
mean,
stay ahead, that's my
Yeah.
thing. I stay ahead, so if something comes up at the last minute, then I'm already ahead, so I don't lose too much ground.
There are people that there's 2 girls in our cohort that they work hard all week, and then they take Sunday off, or
Yeah.
they take Saturday off,
Right.
and that's how they decompress. I definitely think you gotta break it up and plan it out. Plan to work on it every day for a little bit. And I don't mean sit there, I mean, you could sit there for 6 hours every day, but you
Not
know
really.
what
It's hard to retain.
you know what your optimal learning style is, and that's another thing you'll learn like right off the bat, what works for you and what doesn't. What may have worked for you in the past, especially if you're an older student, may not work for you so much now.
Like, for example, I really was crappy at memorizing stuff always, like anatomy. I love the subject matter, but I never got A's in anatomy because I can't memorize stuff. So, can I do enough to pass the class? Fine. But it took a while for me to learn that about
Well,
myself.
YouTube will be your friend for
Yes.
anatomy and neuro.
Right.
Use it frequently. If you're a workout person, put it on while you're in the gym. That's what I would do. And it really helped. If you have Dr. Shotwell, she does her lectures. You can put it on your phone, listen to it in the car. That was really just kind of an extra step. Use as many techniques as you can to get the information in.
Right.
I think that's kind of important. And then too, if you're a loner, because I'm a loner learner,
We have a couple people like that.
you will learn that you can do it, but if you ask for help just a little bit, it makes your
I
life a
said
lot
like
easier.
episodic study groups.
Right.
That's,
And the thing is, study groups are great, but find the people whose personalities work for you and whose style of learning and productivity level within. Because some people are more social in study groups, so they come and they have to have their social part. And then other people like me, if I'm going to study, I come in, I have a plan, I stand at the board and I write all this stuff, and everybody else, I'm like,
she keeps us on track.
I'm like the professor. I'm like up there. Like, okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, guys, what about that? It just depends what your learning style is, but all learning styles can do it. It's just make sure if you pair up with people that it works for you. And the other thing too is when you're coming in, they say this and you kind of go, and they'll tell you 100 times during first semester, it's not a competition. And it's really hard to sort of, especially a lot of you are going to be those students who were top of your class and always did really well and the teacher's favorites and all that kind of stuff. All of you are, and so all of you can't still be, but it's not like that anymore. There will be the people, the whole range, the gamut. Share stuff, that's really truly share all your resources, because there's so much learning to do. If you don't share, you're gonna miss out.
Right, you get overwhelmed.
And break
Did
stuff
you guys
up.
like break
And
stuff up?
trust each other, because like what we'll do a lot of times is, there are some semesters, like MPs, we read the entire 28 chapter book. Take turns, somebody outline chapter 1, somebody outline chapter 10, and trust each other to do that, because you will get overwhelmed. There's just a lot of stuff. Try to do your reading, at least skim it.
Yeah.
Like, look at the boxes and the case
Yeah.
studies and the bolded words, if you can't do anything else. And I won't say I've read every page of every like thing, but I've tried to at least like be familiar. I don't know what else.
I just did the same thing about the study groups. I'm not normally a study group person, but I've tried it, and like Stephanie said, and I've actually tried a few different study groups to find, who I fit with.
How did you break up with the study group? Like, I don't want you to feel bad if it's not working
Well,
out.
and in our cohort,
It's like
we,
divorce them.
but listen, we
had a semester, that was a good ending point, and we just kind of stopped it.
well, and the other
And
thing,
was there any discussion, like, next semester I'd rather work
Nah.
with Sharon?
no.
Okay,
We have like, 8 people that travel, 6 to 8 people that
Right.
come from out of town, so like they can't even be, but the thing is, you can use Google Chat, you can use a lot of things. I mean, we do have study groups, but we don't, like now we're meeting to study for our final, but a lot of times it's more informal. Like I have every single person in my cohort, their numbers in my phone, and if I know they know something and I want to know, I'll text them.
and we're gonna send you the Excel spreadsheet of
And
everybody in
so,
the class.
You don't have to be everybody's best friend, but like, everybody just kind of help each other out. That's
Right.
kind of how
Right.
it is. And there will be people who, their lifestyle works, their schedule works, so they'll be really close and do stuff together. And then other people,
That are kinda on the periphery, and
right,
they're
and,
still
but
the
that's
family.
okay, everybody's in the group, everybody's in the cohort, and I mean, I don't know, I'll ask anybody anything I wanna ask, but that's just how I am. I think you should, part of the way our study groups end up breaking up is based on availability, because like I'm able to meet a lot during the day, but not so much at night. But I will like have phone chats with people at night. But like in terms of meeting, if I meet, it's usually during the day. Whereas other people, they'll hook up and they'll study from 9 at night to 2 in the morning
Ugh.
at somebody's house. I'm a mom, I got little kids, I can't. Mine are in elementary school, so it just depends on what works for you. But then again too, you can do it on your own. A lot of people do. But you just use your technology, because you're not as alone as you think you are.
What questions do you have for them? Because these people are the cohort above you.
What would you say is a good size for a study group? Like how many people would be too
It
much?
just depends on your, like I said, it depends on your personality. I mean, the people who love to socialize, their groups are big. And then some of us who are more focused, 3 to 4.
Yeah, I think if it's like 7, you're gonna break into subgroups.
But if you have a big group, you can do it. It's just come with a plan. Like say, agree, this is what we're gonna talk about then. But that's what works for me. Other people, not so much. There's more social, they'll get together and do dinner and then do, and that's cool too. I don't have that much extra time.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Questions for them? All right, thank you so much for coming, give them a round of applause. We'll see them in the lunch and learns next semester.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about asking us for stuff or.
By the way, Lisa is gonna be a writing tutor for you all, for foundations. And I wanna talk to you about that a little
Okay.
later, so I'll send you an email.
Okay.
But so if you think, like on your first assignment, oh God, I'm gonna need help writing, she's your woman, okay?
Okay.
So, and she can do a lot over the phone virtually, help you with your papers. All right, good, all right, thank you. Okay, I have one more thing to show you, and then we have to dismiss you. We're not gonna do the bingo thing, because I made you each stand up, okay? So we'll save that for another day. But if you have not gotten on this, I want you to write this page down right now, called intranet.cornell.edu, and bookmark that page. That's your portal for every electronic in the program. Okay, intranet.cornell.edu, okay? And this is gonna be everything you need digitally for Burnett, okay? So a couple important things I want you to do right here is a virtual student orientation to Burnett. So basically, it tells you about like the different services. Like as a student, even a weekend student, you can use the health center. There's a counseling center. Most of it's based in Gainesville, but it's still available to you, okay? The other thing, I sometimes put some things on iTunes U. So if you don't have iTunes on your computer, you need it. By the way, the Mac PC dichotomy, okay? Do not turn in an assignment and say, oh, well, I have a Mac. Please. It needs to be, and don't send me a paper in PDF, because I want to edit, I want to give comments on it. So whatever the teacher tells you format to be in, give it back that way. If the teacher gives you a rubric, use the rubric as the headings. That's why they gave you the rubric, okay? Okay, the three things here that are gonna be important. You have a book list in your folder. You can order the books online. We don't care where you get it. Typically, we always want most current edition. Okay? Campus Web is, you're only going to go to Campus Web 2 times in a semester. One, to register for classes and check your schedule. We register you the first semester. After this, you register you. Okay? The second time in a semester you'll go to Campus Web is to check your grades. But in most cases, our grades are on Canvas, so you kind of know your grades. But it's really important to us in Campus Web that you do the course eval, because that's how faculty get raises, okay, or not, okay? And so it's really important to us that we know how people are teaching. That doesn't mean at the course eval you use that as an opportunity to slam a professor and you haven't given feedback before. So give feedback all the way along. That's Campus Web. Canvas is our digital platform. Some of you have used WebCT or Blackboard or Angel or some other software. This is our software, okay? We try to have standard Canvas sites so you kind of know where to find stuff. But if you're not able to find stuff, talk to the teacher and say, well, I don't know where to find your lecture notes. They're going to be under modules in most cases. But anyway, Canvas is where your online materials start. Yes?
Can you download the app? It's a Canvas app you can use.
To your phones? Yeah, okay. So yeah, the other thing, let me say this now, because we had Snowmageddon here in Georgia last year. If we have to go to, like we have a snowstorm, I usually try to call it the night before if we're not going to meet, because I know you guys are coming from a distance. Now we have Zoom technology that we can meet 200 people in a class on Zoom. We want to avoid that, but just know that in the spring semester, occasionally we've had a snow day on a weekend. Just check your email. There's also the Burnell alerts, but I would still double check with Summer. If, you know, like maybe Brunel hasn't canceled, but we're gonna cancel because we know that you all are driving long distances. Does that make sense? So we'll try to call it the night before.
How soon will you post the modules on the Canvas? Like, is it posted now for the
No,
semester?
no, God, we're like you, we're night before people, but, no. So, January 5th, or that first Monday in January, 4th or 5th, is when you should start looking. And if you don't see it, email me, email the instructor, say, hey, I don't see a Canvas. The teacher may have forgotten to publish it, you know? So, good question. The last thing you need to do is your Brunel email. So the 3 things that you're going to be on this page for all the time, Campus Web, twice a semester, Canvas, pretty much every day, right? It might take 1 day a week off. Email every day. Check it every day. Hook it up to your phone. You can set everything up to your phone. Kathy. Okay, yeah, because we know you'll be doing a lot from your phone. Okay, any questions? Oh, library website is also interesting, and we have something here called LibGuides, and there are special OT LibGuides that it's sort of like one-stop shopping. It brings you to the databases that we care about. So it's going to be really helpful in evidence-based practice. The Writing Center, and again, Lisa will be your tutor, but there's other tutors at the Writing Center. So use them to your advantage. There is a Brunel student handbook, but this is our student handbook, and this is what we're going to test you on. Okay? Again, you have to do it. It's a box you got to check, but it's to make sure you've read this handbook. And if you have any questions, me or Janine can easily answer those questions. I think that's it on this page, but bookmark this page, it's going to be your friend. Yes, Kathy?
Is there Facebook, like,
Yes. Okay, so the Brunel OT Facebook, so we have 2 Facebooks. It's kind of weird. I think not. I think it's Brunel OT is the Facebook.
Aunt Nellie, and then I have like Renata.
I forget the password. I'm sorry, I don't know. But, yeah, it says Aunt Nellie, and all of us are in graduation gowns going like this.
What
That's
does it
what the
say?
page looked like.
Aunt Nellie.
Aunt Nellie. She's our Aunt Nellie. It's like, you know, like we had a little essay. Pretend you just got into OT school and you're telling Aunt Nellie what OT is. And, you know. So,
There's also, sorry to interrupt, there's also like a 2015 cohort group.
yes. And one of these ladies is gonna invite you to it, and it's your group, okay? That you still shouldn't talk bad about us in it, but it is private to just you. So, and unfortunately, I can see your post. So because I'm like an administrator on it, so just be careful what you're saying, but it's okay to say, hey, what does Shotwell want on that assignment? Does anybody know? That's fine. But just know your teachers might see it, so don't be cussing or talking trash about us, okay?
Is
All
there
right.
a Twitter one also, or is that?
You know, Chrissy will do Twitter and Instagram through Anatomy. And it's more just like each week she'll make you post questions to each other, and she's just using social media. So it just mixes it up a little bit. So if you don't have those accounts, do it. Anybody do Yik Yak? That's like the newest thing now. My kid's doing Yik Yak. Yeah, so I don't know, that's the next social media craze, I guess, and Vines, obviously, so. All right, any questions, last minute questions? You all a little overwhelmed? No, you excited? Yeah, you should be. So just sort of put your life in order to the degree you can. We have two people who were not here today, Eric Minter, hi Eric, and Elizabeth somebody, right?
Lambert.
What's her name?
Liz Lambert.
Liz Lambert, hi Liz. So if you see their names on the spreadsheet that we send you, that's who they were. They weren't here, okay? All right.